So first I'll talk quickly about one more keyword called as this keyword. Okay. So yesterday we saw two keywords. Final keyword, basically it is used to restrict the usage to user. We can use final keyword at variable, methods and classes. If final variable cannot be reassigned value, if it is a final method, we cannot override it. If it is a final class, we cannot inherit it. And then we talked about super keyword. Super keyword is basically used when there is a relationship in between parent and child, and if you want to deal with parent class methods, right? So you can use super to refer immediate parent class instance variable, or invoke parent class method, or invoke parent class constructor. Okay, so this thing we saw. So super keyword is basically used to work with parent class methods, parent class objects. Okay, but if you want to work with current class instances, current class object, current class constructor, then this is the way keyword which we are going to use. This keyword which refers the current class objects. Okay, so I'm going to show you a quick demo about this keyword. Okay, so there
So
are
you mean to say super is just your upper class. Maybe you are extending the class, just your extended class, right? And this keyword is
s-
current keyword.
yeah, so super keyword is to be used when we have parent-child relationship, and from child class you want to access anything from parent class.
So that is for that super only.
Yeah, right. That is for super.
Or this for your child class.
Not child class. So this is when, even if you don't have parent-child relationship, we can use this keyword. Whereas super keyword can be used wherever there is only parent-child relationship. That is, there is a inheritance. But this keyword you can use it anywhere in any class.
Okay. So if you have some doubt, some confusion, you just put this.
Thing which we can use. There are few more things, but we do not use this. The advanced Java concept doesn't need it, and we do not want all of them. So unnecessary will get confused. Okay, so here I'm talking about this keyword. Okay, so this keyword is basically refers current class object. Okay, so, so let us say you want to print some. You have some organization, you have some company, and in your company you have employees. Okay, and in employees, let us say you have full-time employees plus interns. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to display the information of uh, employees. Okay, which contain full-time employees plus interns. Okay, so just a small example. Let us say you have this kind of example. Okay, now we'll see in this specific example when we will use this keyword. Okay, so this keyword can be used at three places, as I mentioned in my PPT. Four places I mentioned over here. Using this keyword with instance variable, so we can use it with instance variable, then we can use it to invoke the current class constructor, then we can use this keyword to return the current class instance, and we can use it as a method parameter. Okay, so the last thing what I said is using this keyword as a method parameter. So this is something which we will demonstrate, we will see actually when we work with page object model. Okay, using page factory, that is that is something we will study when we start working with framework. Okay, let us say I'm defining 3-4 variables. Okay, so the first variable I want to define as employee number. Okay, second variable I want to define as employee name. Third variable I want is integers salary, employee salary. And final variable I want is string location, employee location. Okay, so these are the four variables, and I want to display this information uh, of the employees. Okay, so now to display the information, we will be writing one method, okay, and the method is public void sorry, spelling mistake, public void display uh, employee info, display employee info, and here I'm going to print the employee info. Okay, now what is my employee in employee information? It is system.out.println. I want to print name of employee is, and his name is e name. Fine. And then I'll display employee number. I'll simply do copy paste. Uh, e number of employee is e number. Fine. And then e salary. Salary. Salary of employee is e salary. Okay. And finally, location of employee is e location. Okay, but in salary I want to check because I'm assuming interns are not paid with salary. Okay, so I'm checking if e salary is uh, greater than equal to 0. Okay, then print this message. Okay, not greater than equal to. If it is equal, if it is greater than 0, then print this message. Else print something like, okay, interns are not paid with salary. Print statements. Okay, now I want to call this method. Okay, and I want to pass the data. Okay, so see, I can directly pass the data over here, like int e number is equal to 1001, something like that. I can directly do it over here, but this is not the way how we do in Java. Okay, this, if I'm doing this something like this is a very beginner level thing, and I can use it only if I am having one class in my project, but I'll be having many classes in my project, and I'll be calling one class from another, and likewise, right? So I will be always passing the important data through objects, right? And how we pass it? We pass it like when I create object of this class. Okay, so let me create a main method. Okay, so when we create object of this class, like this keyword demo d is equal to new this keyword demo, then within this keyword demo, I should be able to pass my data like my employee number, employee name, something like that. Okay, so I should be able to pass this data in my object creation, right? Uh, so how I can pass it? By creating the constructors, right? So let us create some constructors, because constructors are used to pass the data and to initialize the data, right? So let us pass the data. Let us create the constructor. How we create the constructor? To create the constructor, your method name, sorry, your, yeah, it is special kind of method whose name is same as your class name, right? So here this is my constructor, and what I want is, I want my constructor should access uh, uh, data like employee name, employee number, salary, and e-location. Okay, but now here I have two things. Okay, I have full-time employees and I have interns. Okay, so first what I'll do is I will get the data for interns, because if I'm creating only one constructor, and if I'm asking for all these four things, then I may need to pass salary as a 0 into my uh, data, right? But if I'm creating two constructor, one with all these four values and one with only three values excluding salary, then I don't need to pass 0 as a e salary, right? So what I'll do is I will create two constructor. First, let us create a constructor for uh, interns. Okay, so for interns, what I want integer as e number. Then what I want is string e name, and then I don't want salary, and then I want string e location. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to assign whatever value I'm accepting over here, like whatever value I'm accepting over here should be assigned to this e number, right? So what I can do is I can simply write something like, okay, this e number whatever I have in my class should be equal to whatever I'm accepting over here as a argument, right? So here, okay, so here you see I'm getting some warning and it says the assignment to the variable number has no effect. Okay, now if I just make it as e number 1, and if I make it as e number 1, the warning is gone, right? Because earlier what we were doing is we were giving the name of my instance variable. Instance variable means these variables, okay? Instance variable and my these variables, whatever I'm accepting as a parameter is same. Here it is e number, and whatever I'm accepting e number, right? Both are same, right? So the problem get resolved, so will not get that warning has no effect because it is not going to. So the problem will get resolved if I simply change this variable name, like instead of e number I can make it as e number 1, and I can make it as e number 1, so that this e number is equal to this e number 1. This will work, right? But okay, so but this is not a good practice. Okay, I cannot make it like e number 1 e number 2, or I cannot make it something int j I j k, something like that. That's not a good practice, right? My we are going to assign that value to specific instance variable, so I can put the name same, but what I can do is here I can use this keyword. Okay, I can use this keyword to tell which is uh, current class instance variable. So if I click on this e number, okay, so you see nothing is getting highlighted. Neither this e number which is my instance variable, nor this e number, right? So what we can do is I want to tell that, okay, whatever I am writing on the first, that is this e number which is highlighted, is my instance variable, right? That is this variable, right? How I can do that? I can simply write something like this dot e number, and now you see the error is gone. And now if I double click, okay, not sure why it is not highlighting, but when we use this dot, this e number, now this specific variable is going to be your instance variable, right? So by using this keyword we are telling that, okay, this is the instance variable, and what will happen is now we'll get the value of this e number from this constructor, and we will assign it to instance variable called as e number, though name of both are same. But using this we are telling that, okay, this e number is a variable which is basically instance variable. Okay, so likewise we will be using all. So I'll write something like this dot. This is the basic usage how when we use this keyword. Okay, so this is the main use, basically what we use when we create our automation framework. Apart from that, whatever we have, all other things we do not use, but I'll just demonstrate. As I said, the usage, like using this keyword as a method parameter, I'm going to demonstrate you in when we are developing a framework, that is when we are using page object model. That time we will be using this keyword as one of the method parameter called as init elements. Okay, we'll see it over there, and then I'll tell you how to invoke a class constructor. Okay, now okay, so now this constructor is created for interns because it does not accept salary. Okay, now I want to create another constructor which accepts four things, right? For my full-time employees. Okay, employee number, name, salary, and location, right? So what I can do is I can simply copy paste this, and I can write something like this. Okay, and see, now this is giving me the error because my arguments are even same, right? So I can simply add one more argument as int e salary, and the error will be gone, right? So we can have multiple constructor, but this is kind of constructor overloading. One constructor, sorry, constructor name is going to be same with multiple arguments. Right. So here I need to add one more thing after name as this dot e salary. This dot e salary is equal to e salary. Okay, but do you see there is repetition of code? I am assigning the variable values here as well for employee number, name and location, and I'm doing the same thing over here. I'm doing it repeatedly, right? So instead what we can do is I can use this method to invoke the current class constructor. Okay, so I may have multiple constructors. So how I will get to know that which constructor I need to invoke, right? So based on the argument list which we are passing to that constructor. Okay, so this employee number I am already initializing it in my previous constructor. I don't want this name, I am doing it there. E salary I'm not doing, and e location I'm doing, right? So I just want in this specific constructor I should initialize e salary, because the rest of the things will get initialized whenever we call this, right? So now what I can do is, in order to reduce number of lines of code, because it is already initialized somewhere, I can call this constructor into this constructor, right? So how to call one constructor into another constructor? Simply by using this keyword. Okay, so and make sure that this is your first line, this keyword is your first line in your constructor. Okay, so how to use it? Use this and something like this, right? So can you see it is giving me some error, and the error says the constructor this keyword. Now can you see I returned something like this in braces, right? And what the error is, the constructor, and it is giving me the actual constructor name now. This keyword demo, that is the actual constructor name, and is undefined. Fine, because the constructor is not defined. So which constructor I want to call? I want to call this constructor, right? So what's the okay, what are the arguments for this constructor? The arguments are these many: integer e number, string e name, and location. So I can simply copy these arguments. I can pass it over here, and now this error should be gone. Okay, so I should not use int over here, because we are already accessing them, and e location. Right now, based on this argument, so I'm passing e number, e name, and e location to some constructor. So JVM will identify which is that constructor. Okay, JVM find out this constructor. So JVM will execute this constructor first, and then JVM will come to next line within this constructor. Okay, and then this line next lines will get executed, right? So this is how we use this keyword to initialize your variables, and this keyword to call your current class constructor. But the thing to note here is, you should call the constructor, you should have this line to call constructor, which will be your first line of your constructor. Okay, now let us say I want to create one more constructor just to write some welcome message. Okay, or let us get demo of this quickly so that we can understand. Okay, now it is, I'm getting some error, and now it is asking me for some parameter. Okay, and okay, so let us write some parameters. And can you see, now it is asking me two things. Basically it is giving me two things. First one, it is asking me either 3 parameter or 4 parameter, right? So if he is a intern, then I will use first constructor. If he is a full-time employee, I will use second constructor. So let us say I'm using as an intern. Okay, so employee number is 1001, employee name is, let us say, John, and employee location is, let us say, yeah, employee location is, let us say, Pune. Okay, and now if I do something like d dot, okay, and display employee information, all these three things will get displayed. Okay, and I'll do it for let us say I want the information for full-time employees now. So I'll use something like this keyword demo d1 is equal to new this keyword demo, and this time I'll pass four numbers: 1002, employee name is, let us say, Renata, and employee salary is, let us say, 1000, and employee location is, let us say, Mumbai. Okay, and this time if I do d dot display employee data, and if I execute this, okay, so I should be using d1 dot. Okay, so if I execute this, it will print the information, first one for intern and second one for full-time employee. Can you see? For intern, it is printing employee number and employee name, and it is printing interns are not paid with the salary, because in the first case I didn't pass the salary, right? And in the second case, you see it is printing me the salary, right, 1000, because I passed the salary. right? So this is the basic usage how we use this keyword. Now let us say I want to pass some welcome message. Okay, so what that mean? Whenever this object of this particular class get created, I want to pass some message. Okay, so let us say what I can do is then I can create one more constructor. Okay, so this time I'll create an blank empty constructor. Okay, or I'll say non-parameterized constructor, and in that constructor I'll simply print the message as welcome, welcome to my organization. Okay, I'll simply simply pass this. So this is a simple constructor, right? So now in my class I have three constructor. First one is default constructor, second one is parameterized constructor, and again third one is again a parameterized constructor. Okay, now if I execute this. Okay, so I executed, but I didn't saw that welcome message. Why? Because you think whenever, so when your constructor will get executed, whenever you create object of that class, right? So I'm creating the object, but by using these special constructor, because we have three constructor and I'm using second constructor here and third constructor over here, but I didn't use first constructor anywhere, right? So how to use our first constructor? Again, we can call this specific constructor simply by using this keyword, right? So where I should call it? Should I call it in the second or third? Because in third I am already calling the second one, right? So I should write it in second constructor, right? So in second constructor, if I simply like write something like this, then earlier you see earlier we were getting some message if I write some empty this something like this, right? Because why? Because we didn't had any empty constructor, right? But this time we have, and I didn't get any message. So now what will happen is whenever this constructor with this four arguments will get called, okay, so what will happen is JVM will go to this specific constructor, and in this constructor what I'm doing is I'm calling again some constructor which accepts three arguments, so it will go to again that constructor which accepts three argument, right? And then it will start executing this constructor. Then in this constructor as well I'm having some this, right? So it is again going to some other constructor, so it will again go to the your first constructor. Then this line will get executed first, then it will execute these three lines, and then it will execute this one line, and finally it will get the data and it will execute the yes. So now can you see the very first message in both the cases is welcome to my organization, welcome to my organization. Okay, so this is the basic usage of why and when we should use this keyword. Okay, so yeah, so this is the basic usage when we should use this and how to use this keyword. Okay, apart from that there are a couple of more usages, as I said, we will be using this keyword when we do have WebDriver dependency. Selenium, what we will be doing is we will be having one method called as page factory page factory and dot, it has one method called as dot, using yeah, so I need to create one method. Okay, so I need to initialize it within constructor. Okay, so within constructor, okay, so this is again we will see this again. So if I do something like, okay, page factory dot, I should be seeing some method as init elements. Okay, and it asks me two things. Okay, so the first thing I need to pass is driver, and the second thing it asks me to pass me the current class object, which is my current class object, right? So I can do something like, okay, I can create current class object like new, then I can give this class name as this keyword demo, and something like this. Okay, so this will work. Can you see it is not giving me any error? Because by using this statement, it is getting the current class object, right? But instead of writing something like this, I can simply write this, so that this error, it will work basically onto the similar line, right? So basically this is again used to pass as a method parameter, right? So that's what I have written as a last, using this keyword as a method parameter. So this init elements method basically need one of the parameter called as current class object, and I am using this keyword to pass the current class object instead of writing new and your class name. Okay, so that's the one thing where